I watched two videos yesterday where you had so-called people that support the Second Amendment was walking around with an AR-15 strapped to their back. This one video I watched, the dude had a loaded AR-15 walking around outside of a police station, peeking inside police vehicles just to bait the police. When the police responded, the dude gave police a hard time, refused to give police his ID, refused to give police his name. That's mental illness. Now, I support the Second Amendment. I support the right to bear arms. I own firearms. But there's no way that I'm going to strap a firearm to my back, or because of the fact that I might live in an open carry state, I could walk around a public space displaying my firearm just to get a reaction, just to instill fear in the hearts of citizens. Now, the dude that was outside of the police station, you could tell when the cop responded, you can tell that the cop was full of fear. He was afraid, and he was being very careful how he approached this man. And he had asked this man, "Is it loaded?" And the man responded, "Yes." So he was trying to figure out, why are you outside of a police station peeking inside police vehicles with a loaded AR-15? So this dude was saying how it's his right to bear arms and how his rights shall not be infringed. And I responded to this post, and I said that they should arrest him for menacing. Yes, I believe that Trump should sign an executive order that whenever someone does that, when they take it upon themselves, and I understand when they start talking about free speech and they're protesting, but when someone does something crazy like that, especially in the environment that we live in today, they should be arrested, and their rights to bear arms should be taken away from them, because they're displaying that they have some sort of a mental health issue. You have to have a mental health issue to do something as stupid as that. And then another part of me is saying that maybe these are anti-Second Amendment police baiters. These are people that's against the right to bear arms. These are people that's in favor of gun control, and they're in favor of banning firearms. So what they do is they create a scenario when people start complaining and says, okay, this has gotten out of hand, it's time for us to now ban certain firearms, which they're in the process of doing. So if you call this protest, you're going to have the opposite effect of that. So it makes no sense to fear the government banning firearms, and yet you giving them reasons to ban firearms. So by you going out baiting police, instilling fear in the public, because now we're in a climate where there have been several mass shootings. People have lost their lives. Children are living in fear. My granddaughter came from school telling me about how she feared the bad guys shooting her. And for weeks she's been talking about guns, because this is what she hears in school. She may hear it from other peers, and she's only 6 years old. She may see it or hear it in the news, because this is what they talk about. So now you have children growing up in fear. These are the children that's going to be anti-gun tomorrow. And maybe this is not a coincidence. Maybe this is all by design. But if you're in favor of the Second Amendment, if you support the right to bear arms, and you believe that your rights to bear arms shall not be infringed, then you should be doing something as stupid as this, because it only creates an opposite effect. It creates an environment where people, even people that support the right to bear arms, are going to start saying, I think they're right. I think they should ban AR-15. I think they should ban AK-47. I think they should ban military-style weapons, as they call them. Because now you claim to support the Second Amendment, but yet you're creating an environment where people are starting to feel uncomfortable. And they're going to start taking the sides of the anti-gun people, the people that's in favor of them banning firearms. They're going to start taking sides with that, because you're creating a hostile environment by going out in public displaying a firearm. We don't know what's going on inside your head. And in one video with a cop, and I really praised this cop for that, man, and he told him, he said, well, listen, he said, we don't know what's in your mind. So we have to treat you like you're a threat, because that's how they display themselves, like a threat. If I saw somebody walking around with an AR-15 and being prior military, my mind is going to be prepared, man. I'm already in the frame of mind now where I have to fight or flight. Either, and especially if you have children with you and you see some fool walking around with an AR-15 just to get police attention, just so that police can approach them and ask them questions, and they refuse to give police what they want. So just because you have that right to bear arms, and if you're in a state where it's open carry is legal, then you shouldn't be doing this. It makes no sense unless you're trying to get attention. And we're in a society now where people want views. People will do anything for views, even harming themselves, just to become social media famous. So I support the Second Amendment. I support the right to bear arms. I support free speech. But police baiting with a military-style firearm, or any type of firearm, because there was a black dude that had a handgun and was baiting the police with it. You now have black men trying to do the same thing they see these mental illness white dudes doing. These white dudes that's displaying their mental illness by walking around with an AR-15 or AK-47 or even a shotgun. You now have black dudes doing the same thing to try to get the same reaction. And then when the police question them, the first thing they come back with is this discrimination. Is it a race thing? Is it because of my race? Is it because I'm black? Well, I seen some white dudes do it, so I should be able to do it. That's mental illness. And people with a mental health issue that do crazy things like that, their rights should be taken away from them. They should be arrested for menacing. So Trump should sign an executive order against not the Second Amendment, not against the right to bear arms, but against those fools that walk around with a loaded firearm just to bait police, so that they can record themselves, and then when police walk away from them, they now feel empowered. The black dude is sitting there laughing, and I've seen white dudes do it. They start laughing when police walk away from them, because in their mind they're thinking like, wow, it works. I'm now powerful. I'm more powerful than the law. When the law really don't know its authority, because if police really knew their authority overpowers that person's so-called right to walk around in public with a loaded firearm. Because if the cops feel unsafe, if society feel unsafe, then it's the police job to say, okay, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, or I'm gonna arrest you. And then take the authority and arrest them and deal with whatever consequences come later. But at least you possibly saved some lives, or you probably prevented another mass shooting from occurring, because they look like a threat. They're acting like a threat. When you claim to be keeping the law, or you going by the Second Amendment, and then you refuse to give police the law what they asked for, now you're breaking the law to try to make a point of you supporting the Second Amendment. So it makes no sense, and I think that anyone who does that have mental health issues, and their rights to bear firearms, to own any guns at all, should be taken away from them. They should be banned from owning firearms, because you, instead of you trying to go to work, find something to do creative, you're out there trying to bait police and argue with police about your rights to walk around with a loaded firearm. And they don't know what's going on inside your head. So, feedback, tell me what you think, subscribe. Right in the description box is the Cash App link. Click on that, support the channel. There's a PayPal link, support that. Until next time, I'm fearless.